Welcome to another edition of Lab Rats. My name is Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And this is a technology show on the internet and in other places that demystifies technology for you and teaches you all about those weird and wacky acronyms and teaches you a thing or two about some of the tools out there.
Are we going to saw anything in half today?
No, that wasn't a different episode. There'll be no sawing of any kind today. Today we're actually going to get into the numbers of the internet and have a look at Google Analytics.
We'll talk about 5.
5
and
what?
6.
That's right.
Maybe 12.
No, we're going to talk about how to track traffic on your blog or on your website and how the pros do it, how we do it here at butterscotch.com.
Well, 5 and 6, that's about how many hits I get on my site.
On your site, yeah, as opposed to 5 or 6 million, which we get here at Butterscotch. But I'm going to show you how to track them, where those 5 or 6 people are coming from, and you know, how they got there in the first place.
And we can track them down and actually hold a little meetup, all in one
There you
little
go.
booth
Yeah.
at the McDonald's.
Your mom, your wife, your cat, I don't know, 2 other people are randomly found on the street.
You've gone there, haven't you?
Once. There you go, me too. All right, well, let's take a break. When we come back, how to use Google Analytics to make your website successful. Today on Lab Rats. You know, so I've been browsing the internet, looking at content that you've created on the, out there on the web, and noticed that you have a website called globalhermit.com.
I do.
And so it's a website you created years ago?
Many, many years ago, yeah. When I first came to Toronto, I decided to use it as a repository for the writing I used to do.
Mm-hmm. And it's become a media empire for you?
No.
No.
No, as I got involved in Lab Rats and G4 Tech TV and other things, that sort of fell by the wayside. So about 2004, I just stopped updating it, and it's there. So like I said, I was only half joking about getting so little traffic. I don't think I'm getting much anymore.
We have Google ads on there, right?
I do have Google ads.
Do you make any money off of them?
Not much.
Not much. But that means that people are actually visiting your site. And
yes, people are visiting and clicking because I do actually get a check every 3 or 4 years.
Okay, well, that's good. But here's the thing: so I'm going to show you guys, and also you, Sean, today, how Google Analytics really can make a difference in recognizing not only who is using your site, but how they get to it, and it'll also offer you some tips on how to maybe reconfigure the site or build some on content you already have to actually draw more people in.
There we go. Okay,
Right.
I could use this.
Right, good. So the tool is called Google Analytics. Let's pop on over if you can get to it from the Google website. It's a Google tool called google.com/analytics. And essentially what this is an online information collection tool that actually can tell you a lot about what's going on your website. So once you get an account, it's free. You're going to pop on in, and you're going to see here that I have several websites enabled. But I'm going to go into the Cyberwalker site, and I'm going to get some code. Now, this is the way you enable this is you create the account. You get some HTML, right? Some HTML code that you place on your website or on your blog, for example. So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to grab that code. Now, it's buried deep inside the tool, so it's a little bit hard to find, but there are some help files. I'm going to click on Edit here, click on Check Status, and if I go down here, you're going to see tracking code, and it looks like a bunch of HTML. It's actually JavaScript, right? It's a language. And you're going to place this actually in the body, or actually I think it's in the header. It actually explains down here, before the body tag, the closed body tag on your site. So that when each page loads, it actually makes a call to Google and reports information to it.
Yeah, I remember back in the early days of the web, if you had access to the back end of your own website, you could actually go and look at your refer logs and all of this other stuff. But that required you having back end access, which obviously Google doesn't. So this is their way of getting around that and getting the information.
Right, and that you bring up a good point. If you do have a web hosting account, you may actually have a tool that actually tracks these stats already. There's a product called AW Stats, and there's all kinds of different things. This, I think, is more powerful than any of that stuff, and you'll see why as we go through it. So you want to place this code on the site, and you want to place it on every single page on the site, because as each page loads, you want that to be reported to your Google Analytics account.
So theoretically, if you're designing a whole big site, you'll put that into your CSS file, the templates for each page.
Yeah, not CSS, but you want to put it into, for example, you have a content management site like Drupal or a blog. There'll be a place to place that code.
Okay.
Right, CSS is actually just shows you the style. But so you want to place that code in line on every single page and have it load every time. Now, you can do it manually. If you're an HTML programmer, you'll know how to do that. If you have a content management system like Drupal or something like that, there'll be a place to put
So have it automatically place it. Okay.
That's right. Okay, so once we have the code all loaded up, you're going to start to get stats. Stats will start to come in, and after a 24-hour period, you'll start to see the initial traffic that you're getting. So let me take you through some of the key pieces. I'm going to pop in here, and we're going to have a look at, I'm going to view a report on cyberwalker.com, a website that I created 10 years ago, and have since, we're using it actually at Butterscotch now to use all the old articles. So as you can see, you're landing on a dashboard here, and you can see the flow of visits, visitors actually, that have come to the site every day. In fact, this goes back about 4 or 5 years. So I can actually get the historical traffic here. So first of all, it's just interesting to see that in the last 30 days, for example, that 65,000 people have come to this site. Now, it's a lot of people, right?
Way more than me.
Yeah, exactly. But wouldn't it be interesting to know how many people actually physically come to globalhermit.com?
Yeah, that's a good point. I know how many people are clicking through on the ads because I can see that in Google AdSense, but
right.
I don't know how many people are actually coming because I don't have access to the back end.
Right, right. So this would be would be just information would be useful. You can see how many people are coming. And then beyond that, if you click on over here to content, you can actually see which pages, first of all, how many pages are being viewed. A page view is considered one page that draws. Now, this is really important from an advertising perspective because you want to know how many times a page is going to draw in a day because that's how many ads you can serve up. In fact, if you have 2 ads on a page, it's the page views times the number of ads. And you can turn that into money. In your case, you've turned it into Google AdSense, right? Money.
So 2 ads times 5 page views.
It's a lot of money. Well, maybe not. But it's enough for a beer.
CPM on that is amazing.
That's right. So that's really useful here. Now, the other thing, of course, is if you scroll down here, we can see which pages are the most trafficked on the site. Now, the reason this is important is because you want to know which content is actually driving people to come to the site, whether they're coming in from Google or from other sources. And the way that I built cyberwalker.com way back in the day was I wrote an FAQ called Reinstall Reformat Windows. Right? And
useful information.
Yeah, very useful information. It was one article I wrote when I wrote a column for newspapers. And I used it, an analytics tool like this, saw that it was the most popular page on the site and went, maybe I should build more of these kinds of pages. So it became an FAQ. And then it became reinstall, reformat Windows XP, reinstall, reformat Vista and Windows 2000, that sort of thing. Yeah. So it gave me insight into what people cared about on my site and allowed me to build that content, which attracted more people and more clicks, and allowed me to serve up more ads as well.
So a gigantic snowball rolling down the hill now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And in the end, that content became 15 to 20% of the site's content. And at its peak, this was tens of thousands of pages per day. So that's a really handy thing. Now, so you want to see the page views. You want to go through the pages here and have a look at which pages, as you can say, the topic. This is a URL. It's topic/45, which is actually, I know, is my landing page for my reinstall Windows FAQ.
Yeah, sounds like we need to do a little bit of SEO on your URLs there.
Yeah, well, so
I don't even know what I'm saying.
It's like language that you've learned along the way. Okay, good. Ultimately, too, I want to then sort of go into where does the traffic come from. That's really important too, because and you mentioned SEO or search engine optimization. It's a way that you configure your site or your pages on your site to be friendly to Google to say this information is important. So that people looking for that information can find those pages through Google.
Right. So that's you can look at your tool here and you see that the ones that have really, really obscure names in them might not be getting as many hits as the ones that have really clear URL names.
That's right. In fact, if you put reinstall reformat in the actual URL, that will become keywords actually in the search, in the Google search anyway. I'm going to click on traffic sources here on the left-hand side of the dashboard because I want you to show you there's 3 kinds of traffic that you're going to care about, that you're going to look at here and track.
Traffic driving down the highway, traffic going over bridges.
Visitors, okay. So if I go down here to top traffic sources, Google inevitably is the #1 traffic source for any website, in most cases. So if I click on that, you're just going to see the traffic from Google, the visitors from Google, and you can actually see the ebb and flow of that over time. Now, if that's going up, then you know you're doing something right. If that's going down, you know you need to do some search engine optimization to your pages to make it more Google friendly, to draw more people in.
Or do more content that people are interested in.
That's correct too, yeah. There is a traffic source called direct, and this is people that either type in your URL directly So they type in www.globalhermit.com, or somebody sends a link, mom sends a link to dad and says, hey, check out this cool website, globalhermit.com. Both of those will show up as direct traffic.
Yeah.
And again, you can see the ebb and flow there, and also which pages they visit. And
so a company like CNN, for example, would get a lot more direct than someone that's lesser known and getting most of their traffic through Google.
Yeah, brand names tend to get a lot of type-in traffic and that sort of thing. Cars.com, URLs that are easy to remember, or people are wondering what.
I wonder what Google's direct traffic versus Google referred traffic is.
Yeah, interesting. Who knows? That would be a difficult thing to figure out. Okay. I bet you they get a lot of direct traffic. Right?
I'd imagine.
They probably get all of their traffic as direct traffic. They would probably get some referrals from other search engines, though.
Although their search results page would be referred through Google, so who knows? It's a mystery.
You're confusing me, man.
It's my job. I don't know about this, so
right.
This is all I can do is play the Andy role this episode.
That's right. You're enjoying yourself?
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
Okay, good. So the other thing, of course, that you want to have a look at is the referring sites. Now, this is non-Google traffic, non-search engine traffic, stuff where Global Hermit said, hey, this is a good article. Check out Andy Walker's webpage, cyberwalker.com, or labrats.tv or something like that. So it's your site referring me. So here you can see with CyberWalker, the top refer site is actually answers at yahoo.com. Right? Seagate, for whatever reason, is pointing to one of our pages on cyberwalker.com. Why? Because probably have hard drive information or stuff about their products, that sort of thing. So you can go down there. It's very interesting to see. You can track them back and find out what pages and which companies are linking to your content.
Yeah, and you can find out, for example, my site is really slow right now. I'm getting a ton of traffic. Yeah, we got Doug.
We got, from dig.com, exactly, that sort of thing. Or Slashdot, StumbleUpon, all of those guys, would do that for you. And then there's a couple of other things that I really like. One is keywords. If you click on the keywords thing under the traffic sources here, you see the keywords that Google is using to actually drive traffic to your site. So in the case of CyberWalker, if you look, how to reformat Vista, it's the number one. The number one keyword phrase to drive. Number two is how to reformat Windows XP. So there you go. All right. So those are a couple things. The other thing I want to show you, and then this is just, there's lots and lots of stuff here on Google Analytics. You can spend all day figuring out how to use it. Some other things that are very interesting here on the dashboard. I want to point out bounce rate. Bounce rate is how many people came to your website, looked at a page, and went, no. Not
what I'm after.
No, and leave, right? So the higher the bounce rate, the more often, so here in CyberWalker it's 66%. 66% come and then don't go any further into the site, which is about average, between 50 and 60%. That's pretty good average. As it gets closer to 100%, they're arriving and they're not finding what they're looking for, so they're leaving again.
So if they're coming to your site, for example, looking for the Windows, how to reformat Windows, and they see it all on this one page, would that be counted as a bounce if they don't go anywhere else?
Yeah, if they take no more clicking action on that page, then that's considered a bounce.
Interesting.
Yeah. The other metrics very interesting is average time on site. How much time do people actually spend on your site when they arrive? In CyberWalker's case, it's 1 minute, 38 seconds. Right? So maybe long enough to scan an article, maybe to pop through and print something out, that sort of thing. And then finally, new visits, how many people are coming back? So in this case, it's 92% of people that come to CyberWalker have never been there before, or at least from Google Analytics perspective, they may have, but they haven't been trackable. So 8%, I'm getting 8% new returning visitors, which is not particularly good if you think about it. So there's a lot of opportunists who are going to Google, finding me, going through to the site, and then leaving, and never coming back, or not coming back anytime soon.
So, Megan, you can look at this information and say, okay, well, why?
Right.
And then see, maybe you do more of this or do something else.
Well, one thing you could do is you create a registration process to have people register and then stick around on the site, give them a reason to stay. Or in the case of CyberWalker, it's articles. So you come, you see the article, you leave. You don't even think about what the brand is necessarily.
Yeah.
Right. So again, loads and loads of things inside of this product. It is free, which is fantastic. And most of the people out there are using, the pros anyway, using Google Analytics. Now you may want to ask, hey, well, how do you know if the data is accurate?
How do you know if the data is accurate?
Thank you, Sean.
I've actually heard some people saying, I don't trust the numbers. It's just not so good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a reasonable thing to ask. Now, I've cross-referenced in the years that I've done web development, I've cross-referenced this against a bunch of other tools, other stat providers. There's a really cool tool called Chartbeat, which I really like, which shows you the number of real-time visitors on your site and that sort of thing, and watch the trends. And it's pretty accurate. We also compared it at Butterscotch our ad server impressions against the Google Analytics, and it's pretty on par.
So these things are all evening. They're all adding up.
They're all adding up. So Google Analytics is a pretty accurate tool, and I would highly recommend it from that perspective.
Okay, I'm sold.
So there you go. So are you going to install it on globalhermit.com?
I think I'm going to do that and confirm 100% that it's my mom that's coming to my page.
Right, there you go.
Looking for updates.
And your cat while you're away.
And my cat when I'm away.
Okay. All right, well, let's take a break. When we come back, we have picture time coming up and a whole bunch of other stuff. So stay with us after this. Now, during the break, our pal Paul, the associate producer here, said to us, hey, do you know about the map overlay? You know, there's a great map on Google Analytics that shows you where people are coming from.
Well, of course I knew about that.
Yeah, you did. You're a genius, right? No. Anyway, so let me show you because it's worthy. It's a worthy tip. So go on the main dashboard page here. If you go down to the bottom, you'll see a world map. And I click on the United States of America right here. And
feedback at labrats.tv.
And you're going to see a map of America. And it actually shows you where most of your traffic comes from America. In this particular case, I get a lot of my traffic from California. And you can actually see it ranked. So California and New York, the two biggest states that send me traffic. And then it's Texas, Florida, and Pennsylvania, interestingly enough.
Those are big states.
There you go. So, again, a fun tool. Thank you, Paul. All right. Don't forget, we have a contest running right now where you do your best impression of yours truly or this guy over here. And check out our previous episodes for some samples of some of the guys around the studio who tried their hand at doing their best Andy or their best Sean and failed miserably. Yeah. I know you can do better.
We've replaced those people.
We have. They're fired. And you can win a Butterscotch prize pack, you know, one of these gorgeous mugs. What are you pointing at? Oh, and a T-shirt too.
A sticker book.
And a sticker book, you know, all of that fun stuff. So we will send you and your co-host a prize pack. You don't have to share it. We'll send you two if there's two people in the video.
Yeah, poster up on YouTube. Let us know where it is.
Yeah, there you go. Very good. And yeah, send a note to
feedback at labrats.tv.
Speaking of which, people have been in communication with us. They have sent us email because it is picture time.
Yes.
And today we have pictures, Sean?
We do have more pictures.
Good.
So first off, we have a desktop setup here from Andre, who is in Toronto. I think it's Andre, so apologies, Andre, if I'm not pronouncing it right.
Andre spelled with a J?
Yeah, and Andregjs.
Okay.
Andregjs. I think that's Andre.
Okay, got it.
So, Andre, feedback at labrats.tv if I got that wrong.
Okay,
anyways, it looks like a Mac, and is that a Mac over the side? Yeah.
And it's a Pooch. Pooch on his ePC or something.
Yeah,
it's an iBook.
I like seeing a lot of Apple products all in one place.
Okay, next.
We also have our regular writer and photograph sender, Ian, from Stafford in the UK. And he is on a day trip out of Stafford here with his girlfriend, Louise.
Awesome. We like pictures like that. Yeah. We actually see your faces.
Definitely. Show us that you interact with other people and go places and do things.
And don't just stay in your basement and ignore your mom.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to send your pictures to us, you can attach them to an email and send them to
analyze this at labrats.tv.
Or more appropriately,
feedback at labrats.tv.
Right. So send them, don't make them too big, too small. Just send them and let us know who's in the picture, where you're from, and we'll mention you on the show, and we'll actually send you some of this gear if we show your pictures off. Okay, all right, well, that's it for this episode. Do you have anything to add, Mr. Carruthers? Are you going to go off and install Google Analytics on globalhermit.com now?
I'm right on it.
Okay, good. All right. Well, thanks for watching this week. Thanks for pushing play. We'd be foolish to be here if you didn't do that every week. My name's Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And we'll see you next time.
Are you ready?
So first of all, the pros use Google Analytics. This is the key tool that most sites will use. And I'm going to show you how to use it. So let's get started into how to install it. So you have to put a piece of programming code, and I'll show you where to get that. It's actually buried deep inside the site. So let's go through that. There's the code. As you can see, you're going to paste it into the HTML of your site, follow the instructions exactly, and then it will start to track. And it has to be done on every single page on your site, which is a bit of a pain. But if you have a blog, there's a way to do it so that all pages are tracked. Individuals that come to your site. Here's the page views. Pages are the number of pages that people actually look at. And you're going to care about this from an advertising perspective. Now let's look at where the traffic's coming from and click on that.